Minister of International Transport and Tourism Richard Seeley sees huge potential in the Barbados Food, Wine and Rum Festival. He is of the view that it can eventually grow to become one of the island's major national events. He shared his views at the official launch of the 4th edition of the festival at the Barbados Hilton.
In fact, I am more convinced on the basis of what I saw last night in Oistins in terms of the capacity to get the whole island to buy in and that it can become a truly national event. Those of you who may think I am dreaming, consider that Cropover started or was started by the then Board of Tourism to boost arrivals during the summer. That is the history of Cropover. And that is now seen as our national festival, but it has its origins in an initiative very similar to how this festival started.
Aside from increased bookings for the Food, Wine and Rum Festival, Mr. Seeley says visitor spend around this time has been good.
We have data from the American Express cardholders to suggest significant increases in expenses around this time, showing that the American Express relationship is having an impact. And in fact, apart from just during the course of the Food and Wine and Rum Festival, we are seeing increases in the American Express membership coming to Barbados on vacation.
More plans have been announced for cutting government spending in the new year. This time it's in the form of a pilot project introducing a fleet of electric vehicles. News of this from Energy Minister Senator Darcy Boyce as renewable energy company Mega Power launched its electric car rally at government headquarters this morning. Minister Boyce revealed that $250 million, or 30% of the island's fuel imports per year, go directly to the transport sector. And he says government's aim in this regard is to see how much money it can shave off its fuel bill for its vehicles.
Government itself will next year also do a pilot project with some electric vehicles in the government fleet, so we can do some tests. And there are other private persons who are going to do some tests with their some pilot projects, electric vehicles, so that we can have a body of data to help us decide how to go forward with the vehicles.
Minister Boyce admits the full introduction of electric vehicles for government use is some years down the road, but he says there are immediate plans to slash government's energy costs.
The immediate one is going to be the effort which we are doing with the IDB and the European Union to electrify government buildings and make them more energy efficient, as well as to generate solar power from the roofs of government buildings. And that will help us to cut the electricity bill, which is a very significant bill for government.
Meanwhile, government is being encouraged to lower the duties on electric vehicles, making them more affordable for Barbadians. The call from Joanna Edgell, director of Mega Power, the company responsible for importing the Nissan Leaf, priced at about $77,000. Ms. Edgell told CBC News at the electric car rally she believes Barbadians would be encouraged to take up the electric car option if the upfront cost is a bit less.
Cost, of course, is a big thing, especially in the current economic climate, and we really hope that government will consider lowering the import duties on these vehicles to make them more affordable. But if you look actually over the life of the vehicle, $15 per charge, going at least 100 kilometers, you know, it's well close to 3 times that with a petrol equivalent. So I mean, your immediate savings are not on day one, but they're realized quite quickly.
More people have been arrested for illegal drug possession aboard local party boats after lawmen conducted operations on the popular Buccaneer and Jolly Roger last night. Romario Antonio Jordan, 19 years of Hothersall St. John, and 27-year-old Damara Kamisha Moore of Groves Tenantry, Market Hill, St. George, appeared in the District A Magistrates Court this morning on charges of possession of cannabis. Both of them were allegedly found with 4 and 3 cannabis cigarettes, respectively. That's when the Police Marine Unit, supported by the Special Services Unit and the Coast Guard, conducted a joint operation aboard the Buccaneer at sea at about 9:30 in the evening, where they also discovered 22 grams of loose cannabis. Meanwhile, the team seized 155 grams of the drug aboard the Jolly Roger at dockside. No arrests were made. This is the second straight week that police have mounted an operation aboard the party boats where they've discovered drugs and made arrests. Last week, they arrested 3 people for drug possession, including a female. A contention that Barbados, through its investments in education over the years, has eradicated illiteracy from the island. Comparing the post-independence period to today, Principal of Queen's College, Dr. David Brown, says a lot has been achieved with respect to education. He wants it to remain at the center of nation building, saying illiteracy must not be allowed to creep back in. Dr. Brown, while delivering the weekly lunchtime lecture of the Democratic Labour Party, offered some suggestions to aid in the nation-building process.
Any wealth accumulated by the state must be used to maintain and improve our educational system, provide health care, sanitation, and social welfare. In short, the most vulnerable members of our society must be protected by the state. We must foster true entrepreneurship with more people providing their own employment. Central to this process must be the development of a good work ethic among the population.
Dr. Brown also supports the drive towards high-rise housing, noting that land is becoming scarce.
I'm not going to say massive skyscrapers going up 40 and 50, no, not on small island Barbados. But the need to go up in housing rather than to go out, and to constantly use up 3,000–4,000 square feet of land to build one house. It is up now because land is scarce. And if it is one thing we must ask ourselves, if our children or the next generation will have any land in this place to build or to do anything. So it is about time that you move fast in housing now to go up rather than to utilize individual spots.
The Ministry of Home Affairs is to take a recommendation to Cabinet to establish a hazard mitigation committee. That committee will promote effective hazard mitigation planning among all levels of government. No time frame has been set, but Acting Minister of Home Affairs Michael Lashley says it will happen soon. Mr. Lashley was speaking at the official launch of the Caribbean Tsunami Information Center, which was set up in Barbados in late September. He is reminding Caribbean nationals that this region is not immune from tsunamis and urged them to never become complacent. He says development gains could be easily erased and the region set back by decades. Mr. Lashley believes strategies are needed to safeguard the Caribbean.
The committee will work hand in hand with non-governmental organizations, public and private stakeholders, and is expected to advance a shared vision for measured reduction in risks to citizens of Barbados and their assets. All hazards, included natural and related environmental and technological hazards and risks, will be considered.
Acting Director of the Coastal Zone Management Unit, Dr. Lorna Innes, says the information center is needed today as the potential for death and destruction is too great to ignore. She says the path towards its realization was a long one and reiterated Barbados' commitment to the Caribbean Tsunami Information Center.
Today, the Barbados government has demonstrated its commitment to hosting the first institution of the early warning system to be established in the region, the Caribbean Tsunami Information Center. I am sure that you will hear from others about the tremendous support which the member states expect from this institution.